Welcome to Selling Tri-Cities, where we are selling more than homes. This project was created to share our love and passion for this beautiful part of the country that we are lucky enough to call home. We want to showcase the small businesses, the entrepreneurs, and the beauty that makes the Appalachian Highlands one of the most desirable markets in the nation. But most importantly, we want to introduce you to the people that make this area such a wonderful place to live. So join us as we sell you on our love for the Tri-Cities.
All right, so let's talk about COVID. So tell me what happened with your business. Did it go up? Did it go down?
Yeah, COVID, like everyone else, it was a scary situation. I was 3 months into knowing I had a baby on the way. COVID happened, so the lockdown started. The UFC shut down, so I had no fighters anymore that were working, and then all my general population, no one knew if they were going to be homeless, if they were going to, like, no one knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So, like, went back and looked at the stats, I literally lost, it was like 98.7, like 90, it was like right at 99% of all my income just shut down. Like, it was just gone. And I'm I have a baby on the way in like 6 months, freaking out. But this time I was living, because me and wife, we weren't married yet. I was living up in the mountains in North Carolina, like it's called Butler. I literally had a house on like 30 acres with a bass pond in the front, no neighbors, just peaceful. I'm like, well, I have that, so I have a lot of time to think and do all this. And I just, I got a cool porch. That was probably the most I've ever been freaked out, because that was, I told you I'd started from scratch to build the gym. Then I started from scratch to build this gym, the nutrition business, and then I had to start from scratch again. And one thing that I noticed was I had a huge turnover in clientele, and at this point I was charging a very low rate to work with me, and a lot of that was I honestly didn't have the confidence in my own abilities. Like, I didn't have that confidence yet, and as a kid who grew up very unwealthy, like, I didn't like to charge people much money. Like, it just made me feel weird. And then one of my friends just kind of was honest with me. He's like, you have to realize, if you're charging this amount, the amount you're charging, you lost everyone, because the people that were paying that might greatly be affected by COVID.
Yeah.
But if you charge a lot more, the new clientele you're going to get, they're not they don't care about COVID, because they're at home all day anyway. Like, they have business going on. And I just had a real ethical dilemma there, because I'm like, I don't want to do that. But he was, this guy's one of my best friends, and he said, just trust me on it and try it. If it don't work, go back. So I raised my rates significantly. I think it was like 4 or 5 times the amount that I was doing. But simultaneously, because I was in that ethical dilemma, I said, you know what, but now, because of that, I'm going to change my Instagram solely to giving out free information.
Yep.
So that way you either pay me a good amount to work with me, or you pay me nothing.
Yeah.
And my business, within like 2 months of doing that, increased 300% over what it was before it went down. My client, I was turning people away because I didn't have the time to work with them. And this was before I even had my fighters were back again. It was just general population. I was getting hired with people all over the world. People again that they didn't care about COVID. It wasn't affecting them. Just a whole different kind of clientele. Well, then with my Instagram, I went from just in months, just adding followers like crazy and just getting these messages from people. My first year of changing my Instagram to that style, had 4 different people message me, and they'd lost over 100 pounds in that year, literally just following me on Instagram.
Wow.
They had never asked me a question, they never did anything, they just followed the advice I was giving. So then I knew that was working. So this is awesome. I'm in a financially better space. I'm able to influence people that I wasn't working with before, who also need good nutrition, and then I'm influencing the people, and even more than I was before, and not charging a dime to do it.
Do you have a method of how many times you post, or when you post, or does it just come to you and then you say it,
I used to. The algorithm changes so much that I don't even know anymore. I used to post when I was building my Instagram, it was every day. It was at minimum of once every day. And I still think that's important. Everything tells you that's still important. So I was every single day I'm posting, every single day I'm engaging too. So I don't just post. If someone comments, I'm responding to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm making sure they know that. And then I was doing my story and this and that. And then once my Instagram got to like a good spot, it was better. And then I felt like it was doing better and I didn't have to so much.
Yes.
I started finding out the work-life balance more. So now I post like there's some spurts where I'll post every day, but then sometimes I won't post as much.
Gotcha.
I'm on my story a lot, and I still do a free Q&A every week, like on my story. And I go into real like depth on that. I've literally had people like, how many calories should I eat? I'm like, and they tell me, and I literally just break it down for them.
And that's on your Instagram,
Yeah, my
so people
Instagram.
can follow you.
That's Tyler Minton Nutrition.
Okay.
So yeah, that became a huge thing. On my Instagram, it was a wild, because I didn't even understand social media. I don't really like social media.
Yeah, I don't like it either, but I'm on it every
get
day.
it.
I have to.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was at a UFC with Daniel Cormier, my fighter, and I was backstage. And one thing too, I don't get pictures with people unless I'm working with them, unless it's a thing. If I meet a famous person, I'm like, I don't want a picture with them. And there's nothing against that. I'm like, that was part of like the way my dad was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have like that curmudgeon in me. Well, I see The Rock like walking towards me. I'm like, it's The Rock.
I gotta get
I'm just
so I'm
gonna
like,
touch his
yeah. So I'm going through this dilemma in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is The Rock. Like, what do I do? And I decided last minute, and I was in a little bit of a rush. Not that big of a rush, but that's how I was justified. I'm like, hey, it's no big deal. So I passed The Rock. I passed him and decided I'm not going to do it. And then I hear someone behind me be like, hey, you're Daniel Cormier's nutritionist. I turn around, it's him.
Oh my God.
Really?
I turn around, I'm like, yeah. He's, hey, let me ask you something. And he had just seen me through Daniel Cormier, like posting my stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I sit down and like sitting there like talking to The Rock about like the difference in cutting weight for a movie and cutting weight for a fight, and like literally talking nutrition and stuff with The Rock. And that's where he had seen that I did that. And I'm like, what in the world?
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then
I've seen his cheat meals.
and it,
I follow
it's
it.
nuts, yeah. And he don't follow me or anything, but like I went back and like that day I was looking like, wow, The Rock was looking at my story. And like he still like randomly will like I'll like see like people, him and other people like that, they don't follow, but they'll just look at my story because they see
that's
someone
awesome.
else has shared, they see that reach, like I'm gonna go check up on that. And then that's I signed on NDA, so I can't talk about all the athletes, but like I've consulted with very easily the greatest NBA player there is right now, and literally I was discovered through Instagram to be hired to come down and talk to him.
That's awesome.
And
So that's a positive of social media, right?
Yeah, it can be great.
Like you said earlier, it could be the greatest thing, or it could destroy the whole
Yes.
society.
Well, I'll tell you what I did do. I unfollowed from Instagram. So if someone posts something that frustrates me, I unfollow them immediately.
Yeah.
I don't follow any news. I don't follow people who post news.
Yeah.
So if you post conspiracies and anything, even if I would agree with them, I just don't. I'm going to mute you. If you're a friend, I'm going to mute you so I don't offend you. If you're not a friend, I'm just going to delete you because I'm like, I don't. I can't affect
You
that.
don't
I
have
don't.
the mental, you don't have like the mental capacity. You don't even want to deal with. You don't
And
have
it's
that
useless.
outside.
It's useless because you're not going to do anything. You think you're not going to convince everybody, and it's just a waste
Exactly,
of time.
and that's kind of the thing I had. The thing I came to, and that was social with my having a healthy relationship with social media.
Yeah.
Was like I just have to unfollow everyone who's just too extreme, feel anybody away. I'm like, listen, like the only way I can affect Donald Trump or Joe Biden is if they want to talk nutrition.
Yeah.
I can't talk to them about politics.
Yeah.
They don't care who I am unless they wanted to die. Like those people don't care about me. I don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Like neither of them are going to sit down at my Thanksgiving, with my family. Like
Exactly.
so, I'm not going to let I'm not going to let them have any influence over my ability to do the stuff that I am really good at and that I love.
Yeah.
So once I've decided that, and you just start using that unfollow button, social media gets a lot better.
I guess my question now is, what are you doing now? So I mean, obviously, you are incredibly successful. What are some things that you're doing here locally?
I do work with a lot more professional athletes now. I have, like I said, I have people in about every organization, but I still do a lot of general population, just because I love working with athletes. But and I'm not just saying this to sound nice, but I have. In a lot of ways, I'm more passionate about the general population. So if I work with, like I got a guy right now who is he is set in the NFL Hall of Fame already. If I help this guy, and all I do is help him be a better football player, which is not we're going to work after he retires too. But if all I do is help him be a better football player, I don't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But if I help this 40-year-old mother and I change the way that she looks at nutrition, then it could change the way that she teaches her kids to do, which could change the way that they do it. So it becomes like generational change. When you work with general population, you can just literally change lives. And I've seen that. Like I've seen people like take it and just greatly, drastically change the way their whole family eats. Yeah. In fact, with one of my employees today, we literally had the conversation. He's a newer guy, and I was telling him the number one thing that is going to stop your female clients or male clients that are married, the number one thing that's going to keep them from following the plan is going to be their spouse. Mm-hmm. Like that is the number one thing. It's very difficult. That's probably any job. Yeah. But I'm like, so just understand that sometimes like you're doing a great job, but there's things going on at home that aren't supportive. They're not that they're going to fail at the diet. But you're not failing. You did everything you could. Yeah. They just don't have the support system they need. Yeah. So I do love working with general population. So I do still do that, and I'm actually sooner than later releasing a members only website that's going to be, I call it the Planet Fitness model, which is low financial barrier of entry, but like huge potential gain. Mm-hmm. So it is like it's not cheap to work with me, and I have to do that because it's just I'm limited. Yeah. But
scale, you have to go online.
Exactly, and I want to help more people. Yeah. So I'm doing this again. It's like the Planet Fitness model. It's going to be a members only site. It's going to have workout programming, workout videos of how to do this stuff, nutrition ebooks, protocols, and it's going to have kind of like a communication format to like build a community, and people pay a very low rate and join. And if you pay this low rate and you're invested in it, you're going to it can change your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it gives me the ability to branch out and work with a lot of people at once because it's a very low amount. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I'm doing. I'm working on that, and then I have a meal prep company that we deliver and everything. So we have several gym drop-offs. Then we do like anyone within a 30-mile radius. We do $10 delivery to their home, and we're actually looking at doing much further than 30-mile radius now. And all the recipes and everything on the meal prep company, like I said, it's all things that like I would tell my athletes to eat. It's the same things. Like everything is we put the macros and calories on everything so people know, and we're very critical about making sure that's accurate.
What is that business called?
It's called Fit Fast Food Prep.
Okay.
And honestly, I like to play on the fit fast and fast food preps because it's not it's not fast food, but I am a big believer in it has to taste good. So like we have sliders and we have things. We have pizzas. Our pizzas are like our biggest seller. So like you're talking like a pizza this big with like 20 some grams of protein under 500 calories, and they taste amazing. So I'm like, if you don't enjoy the food you're eating, you're not going to succeed on a diet.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't.
100%. I think that's probably one of the reasons why too people like just our country and this world in general, just the overweight and obesity is just because we've gotten busier. We don't ever just sit still. We don't take the time to maybe cook healthy or research healthy, whatever. And so to be able to have an option for people, like I am incredibly busy. People tell me I'm the busiest person they know, which might be true, but I feel like that's, for me is part of the thing that's lacking is that, so to be able to have a company and have nutritionists and something like that here in the local community to offer that is huge.
Yeah, it sounds like you're covering both points too, right? It's got to be convenient, okay? Got to be convenient, and you have to have the support network. So those two things, you have to be there to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and a large part of it too is like I've changed so much like my own opinions of everything in nutrition. It's a science. It is a science, and I get this is when I am going on my rants on Instagram. It's always based off of charlatans and snake oil salesmen. We've gone to where everything's such an extreme one way or the other that people don't know who to trust. So a big thing has become, you can't trust the science. I'm like, that's actually not true. The only thing you can trust is the science because the actual science, like what science is the best evidence and data we have right now to support this thing, and the world's best scientists will maybe prove something. I do this with my own nutrition. they will find a conclusion and then spend the rest of their life trying to prove themselves wrong. What you can't trust is the manipulation of the science by people, by politicians or doctors and things. You can't trust manipulation. The science is pretty unarguable on most things. The science is accurate. Their interpretation of it to the people who don't understand it is not. And with nutrition, that's kind of the thing. I have research days that even now that I'm still like, all I'm doing is researching new and finding new things out. And one of the things I've changed, I used to be, because I was dumb and uneducated. Early on when you start getting into something, you think you know everything, and then the more you learn, you realize you don't. And I probably know more now.
Like the less you learn, that you know.
Yeah, I know more about nutrition now than definitely more than I ever would have years ago.
Sure.
And now I'm just like annoyed because I know that it's just evolving so fast that it's so hard to keep up with. There's so much. I mean, I'm back in school because I'm going to finish like my PhD. Just because there's so much to learn and it's evolving. And one of the things I switched on, I just used to think like, oh, it's a discipline. If you're overweight, it's discipline. If you're doing this, like, make the time. Everyone has the same 24 hours time and 24 hours a day. I'm like, tell that to a mom. Or tell that to it's like, that's not true.
A single mom, 23 jobs.
A mom's 24 hours is different from a dad's 24 hours.
Completely. Well, it can depend. But that's one of the things that I've changed, and I've realized like that's not true at all. Like weight loss is eat less calories than you burn. Like that is the science, but that doesn't account for a social life. That doesn't account for hunger hormones. Like, your body is literally designed to fight you on those things. And as I've learned things like that and really embrace that and embrace the psychology of it, that's where I've changed. Like, used to, it would have failed, but if you asked me to open up a meal prep company 10 years ago, I'm like, it's like boiled chicken, rice, this. I'm like, it's stupid, it would have failed. And now I understand, like, no, like there is a social and psychological element to all this stuff. And that's why now, like, I do think like things need to, like, I'm a very big fan of what I call like flexible dieting, and that's what I use with my athletes a lot. So like even my fighters, so we're talking people that have to lose 40 pounds in just a few months and cut water. I'm like, well, what's your favorite food? And they would tell me. I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to do that once a week. And I would just find a way to make that healthy for them, because if they want it, I'm going to give it to them. I'm just going to make it fit, and then they stick to the diet. Whereas if I take everything they love away, it's not going to give up. That's just the way it is. And that's one thing I embraced on both of those, like my nutrition business and with the meal prep, was how to do that.
Is there an app that people can go on to order? How can people order from this? Because I think that right now, especially at the beginning of the year, people are looking for a way to eat healthier, to do some lifestyle changes, but they're wondering, like, how can I fit this into my life? So what is the easiest way to do that?
So Fit Fast Food Prep. So fitfastfoodprep.com. And we do, like I said, we have like, I always advertise like 75 plus, but I actually think we have over 100 different options. Because then I even have like a build your own meal, because so if someone's following a diet and they need to eat certain amounts, you can go in there and choose, I want X amount of X of ounces of this and this. So
75 different meals. Which is also something you don't find that very often. You find people like, okay, I only have a couple of meals each week that I can get, and it's the same thing. So that variety.
Is there something on the website that tells you how far you guys can go? Because if somebody's just outside of Tri-Cities or something like that, can they still?
If you're within the 30, like it should just alert you. Like it should. So it's and like I said, we're working on expanding past that, because I'm getting a lot of like other like gyms and stuff out of state that are wanting to at least do it for their gym. So we're looking at that.
I mean, for business and for everything else. I mean, like I said, I mean, hours are so limited, up early, bed late, and so it's just tough to do that. So the convenience of that is obviously very appealing, just for not just athletes, for business people. And you have to. People are starting to see this more. Like you do have to invest in yourself. Like you genuinely do. Like it's getting healthy genuinely can be expensive. This is a cliche, but you'll see things like you invest in your wellness or invest in your sickness, and that is true. So it is one of those things. And what I routinely see people, if they start a nutrition plan, is it ends up saving them money. Like eating healthy will save you money if there's a larger buy-in. So if
if me, my wife, and kids are all, just say we're just eating like a standard American diet,
Yeah.
and then I decide that I'm going to clean up my food, but I'm still buying them all the same
Yeah.
groceries, and then I add mine on top of that, oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
But if we're all kind of eating the same, it's pretty cheap, and like it's still high because just grocery bills are high, but when we like compare like my family's grocery bills to other people, like we're finding out we're like $200 a week less than most people.
Wow.
Because we just all, like we all four eat the same pretty much. My kids will eat a little differently because they're kids, they're pickier.
Yeah.
But we just all kind of eat similar, so that helps.
Hopefully now, if people have, listened to this and heard your story, they will understand. Like, it's nice to have somebody who's running a business like that who they can believe in and have faith in and can trust what it is that you're doing. So I think that's big too, because you said there's a lot of those, car salesmen, phonies out there selling things next to that's not really what they're getting. So.
Yeah, and that's even with the meal prep company, like that was one of my things. And like this, I want it to be things that I actually eat. With the nutrition coaching, it's like I want this to be the things that worked with me, and I know work with other people. And I want everything to, again, like my nutrition consulting company is Ethos, because everything goes back to that. Like I'm very passionate about feeling good about it. Like at the end of the day, like I obviously I want to make a lot of money, because that removes stress from my life and helps my family in this, but I still have to feel really good about the way that I make money, or I'm
Exactly.
I have to still sleep with my conscience about it.
I'm super impressed by you as a person, as a human, as an entrepreneur. So thank you for coming out. I've been very excited about this one. Stay tuned for another episode next week of Selling Tri-Cities, where we are selling more than homes. If you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur and would like your business highlighted, please call 423-741-2564 or email aubrey.tellerico85@gmail.com. We would love to showcase your business.